Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Elon claims there's a good chance Tesla will achieve 1 million cars this year. In the past, he's also said they should be above 50% growth for 2021 and 2022. So is this achievable? Well, let's go through it and see what we can come up with. So, can Tesla reach 1 million vehicles delivered? Well, let's do our best to see if we can work out how the rest of the year might go. Of course, we already know we had 185,000 deliveries for Q1, which is usually the quietest quarter for car sales in general. Having a record quarter for deliveries is a good start to the year. So the question is actually, can Tesla deliver 815,000 vehicles for the remaining 3 quarters? I've gone through various ways of considering the best way to analyse this, and I've decided it's best to first calculate a good estimate of what Fremont and China can do, and then work out how much production we might expect from Texas and Berlin. And then we can work out what the stock price might be as a result. I've been waiting for the Q1 deliveries until I did this analysis, and the March Chinese sales, which I finally have. Now we have the latest figures out from China, and wow, I love how I get these numbers from China. It allows us to work out so much. But one amazing thing I discovered in March was the number of Model 3s produced. They were over 25,000. Why is that a big deal? Well, if you multiply 25,000 by 12, you come in at 300,000. Tesla claim the capacity is 250,000. They are above capacity, which has been my theory, and I know a lot of yours too, that Tesla is capable of doing much more than what they say in China. Some people even think Tesla can get those 2 factories in Shanghai to 1 million units a year. And this wasn't a one-off either, as Shanghai did over 23,000 units in January as well, which is around 280,000 for the year, also above capacity. So this is huge. And it's like I say, a lot of analysing Tesla is about reading between the lines and using deductive reasoning to draw inferences, as we only get given so much data to calculate. Anyway, with this, we can do our best to predict what Tesla might do in China for the year. I thought I would simply make a table with all the models and factories and see if we can predict what Tesla would do for each every month. Starting with Model 3 Shanghai, well, if Tesla are already at 25,000 a month for Model 3, then I'm happy to keep that rate throughout the year, including downtime. It's already above capacity, but it's possible they could increase the rate even further. Anyway, that would give us a total amount of 225,000 Shanghai Model 3s. Now, Tesla have done an outstanding job of ramping up the Model Y in Shanghai to just over 10,000 units in March. However, when Model 3 in Shanghai hit that level, it stuck around that level for a few months. Comparing it to the Model 3, it looks like the Model Y is ramping up faster, but we did have a COVID downtime for Model 3 too, when they're around this level. I think Tesla can ramp up the Model Y faster though, especially with the gigapresses and all the experience they have now. I'm going to add an extra 2,500 cars each month until they're ramped up to 20,000 a month. 20,000 a month is 240,000 a year scaled, which is above the capacity like the Model 3. But I believe if Model 3 can exceed its capacity, then so can Model Y, particularly as I think these capacities were first set before Tesla started using the gigapress. This means by July, Tesla will have ramped up their Model Y and we're going to cap it at 20,000, coming in at a total of 165,000 Model Ys for the year, giving China a total of 390,000 for the rest of the year. Now we move on to Fremont. We're still waiting for the new Model S and X to be released. I think this might take until June, and they won't be totally ramped up either. I'm placing just 2,500 for June, then increasing at a rate of 2,500 a month until we reach 10,000. I think the capacity will be around 30,000 a quarter. That's the level they were at before the Model 3 was launched. There's a ton of demand for these cars now. They should have enough battery supply too, as they have previously, and these batteries are not used in any other cars. Another great thing about having the numbers that come out of China is that you can work out what the Fremont numbers are too. For Q1, Tesla produced 180,000 Model 3s and Ys, and we know about 84,000 of them were from China, implying 96,000 from Fremont. At that rate, Fremont would come in at around 400,000 annually. However, Tesla claim a capacity of 500,000 for Model 3s and Ys in Fremont, and presumably that didn't factor in the gigapress, which they're using for the Model Y in Fremont. And yes, I understand this is capacity, not expected rate, and doesn't necessarily include downtime. On the other hand, China is exceeding their capacity already. And the China Model 3 run rate is likely already higher than the current Fremont Model 3 run rate. I think the Model 3 has been fairly consistent at 50,000 units a quarter in Fremont since Tesla introduced the Model Y. And Tesla probably prefers selling Model Ys over Model 3s due to the higher gross margin. 50,000 a quarter is 16,000 a month, so let's just keep with that for Model 3. I think Tesla can do more with their Model Y, though, particularly given that they have the Gigapress and are more encouraged to sell Model Y due to a higher profit margin. I'm therefore going to keep ramping them up 1,000 a month until they cap at 20,000 for the Model Y. And there we have it, a total of 763,000 already from their existing factories. But we only need 815,000 total, and we still have 2 more factories left. If that number does sound crazy, then I think it's because people are underestimating the Chinese factories. We've only increased Fremont production by 10% from where it was in Q1, and we aren't even increasing Model 3 Shanghai with these numbers either. So they could even be argued as conservative. July seems to be the consensus as to when Berlin will start. Now, this is a Model Y factory, which means we can use a lot of the data for how the Model Y factory in Shanghai was ramped up. Except now, this facility is rumoured to have 5 times the capacity. Does that mean it will ramp up 5 times as fast? Or even faster, given that they're using the 4680 batteries with cell-to-vehicle structure? But will there be enough 4680 batteries for them? I feel like we're being safe enough just doubling the Shanghai Model Y ramp. Tesla have also learned a lot from the Shanghai factory too, and we would only expect them to get better at ramping up. I would probably feel comfortable being more conservative, but we're going to go by the Model Y Shanghai ramp up as a guide, rather than just making up numbers. So it is what it is, and comes in at a total of 77,000. Austin, however, is a bit of a shot in the dark really. It's meant to open towards the end of the year, and some people are even expecting Cybertrucks to start delivery this year. I think construction at Austin only started about a month or so after Berlin, however it looks further behind. Let's say that they actually start manufacturing in October, but we just have the Model Y and Cybertruck to start with. I'm using the same rate of ramping up the Model Y as we did for Berlin, and half that for the Cybertruck. Anyway, that gives us a total of just 25,000 from Austin. Yes, the semi-truck is also rumoured to deliver some units as well, but the numbers are too small to have any impact on our model. It's also rumoured there may be some Cybertrucks out of Nevada first too, but we're going to ignore these as well. And we have a total of 865,000. And if we add the first quarter, then we're at 1,050,000. In other words, we're left with a buffer of 50,000 units to achieve the 1 million vehicle milestone. So if you thought I was optimistic on any of those other production numbers, if you scale them back a bit, then it probably still isn't too far off the 1 million. For example, if you thought Berlin might just do 50,000, and Fremont Model Y was 10% less, and Model Y capacity in Shanghai was 10% less, then we still hit 1 million. And the other question everyone wants to know is, what will this do to the stock price if Tesla achieve 1 million deliveries for 2021? This valuation will be based solely on the existing economic climate. We never know what may happen, particularly with where we're seeing interest rates, and assuming no major issues occurring. It will also be based on Tesla not having any breakthroughs over the year that could alter the stock price too, which is probably likely. In other words, what extra value does the 1 million delivery milestone alone add to the stock price? Remember, we saw the stock price at $900 with about 500,000 deliveries. If Tesla have doubled those delivery numbers over the year, then we should definitely expect it well north of that. Of course, double deliveries doesn't mean double the stock price, as we have some growth already priced in. If we take the market expectation of around 850,000 deliveries, from there, 1 million would be almost 18% more. Tesla beating expectations by 18%, then adding 18% onto the stock price is just over $900. But it's not the deliveries they beat that matter, it's the growth that matters. If last year Tesla delivered 500,000, and this year they're expecting to deliver 850,000, that is 70% growth year over year. But 1 million deliveries is 100% growth year over year. 100% is 40% more than the 70% growth. In other words, 40% of 70% is around 30%, and 30% plus 70% is 100%, and 100% growth is 1 million deliveries. I hope that wasn't too hard to follow, but basically their growth has improved 40% more than expectations. If Tesla's growth is 40% more than the market is expecting, then adding 40% onto the current price is going to take the stock price close to $1,100. I would therefore estimate the stock price would be between $1,000 and $1,200 if Tesla achieved 1 million deliveries. And if we're at 1,050,000, then we should be able to add an additional $100 onto the stock price again. And if at the fourth quarter Tesla can deliver 360,000, that's an annual run rate of 1.4 million, probably closer to 1.5 million at December's rate, with an average battery size of around 65 kilowatt hours. That's a battery supply of 100 gigawatt hours a year from what Tesla is producing in-house, and from their suppliers just for cars, which is likely more than double from last year, and is without 4680 batteries scaling up that much. This would mean that there should be a good chance Tesla can reach 200 gigawatt hours for autos next year. We've worked out a model that calculated Tesla's stock price based on 200 gigawatt hours of batteries for autos. It came in a stock price of over $2,000. I think that would easily round it up to $2,500. Therefore, if Tesla achieved 1 million deliveries, then they should be on track to 200 gigawatt hours of battery supply for autos too, and I would give them a $2,500 stock price for 2022, which for me is absolutely crazy. Again, this will be based on no economic downturn. Berlin alone will give us so much more intel on what the company is going to be. I'm on a mission to purchase as many Leaps as I can, as a hedge to lock in as many shares as I can in the future. Anyway, this is just one person's opinion. Do your own research and make up your mind. And just a disclaimer, I do always tend to be on the bullish side of Tesla. I try to be objective and play devil's advocate, but I find it also exciting and can't help but see the optimistic side of things. So feel free just to dial it back a bit from what I say. Also, I've included a link to this model in the description below. Thanks for listening, please hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.